Greetings, everyone. This is Reverend Chris. It is Sunday evening, January 17th, 2021. And I come to you with a message that I was made aware of was coming this morning. And I didn't get to it until this evening. I was called out to run errands and do things with my daughter-in-law. And I have received this message, and I am here now to share with you what I was shown and what I was told and made to know. Now, I'm still a little shaky from this, okay? I'm a little awestruck, incredulous, maybe the words, trying to come to grips with the enormousness of what I was shown. To wrap my head around it, okay? And you're all there going, what is it? What is it? What is it? And I have to tell you that based on my response, and this is not something, and it's not something horrible, okay? Before you go that route, no fear involved here. But if you remember the reading that I did a few days ago, the Divine Plan reading, covering the period from the 14th to the 24th, that reading was, the theme on that, right, was we are at a Red Sea moment. So what does that mean, right? That was the Red Sea moment, as we speak about that, and you hear people talk about it, was when the Israelites had fled Egypt. The Pharaoh let everybody go, and they got to the Red Sea and didn't know how they were going to get across. It was like, now what do we do? And in the meantime, Pharaoh had changed his mind, hardened his heart again, and he and his army came after them. So here they were, stuck between the Pharaoh's army and the Red Sea. And they had no resource but God and God's miracles. So I have Moses here with me right now. I mean, and you'll see the energy running through me is so strong because I have asked that what I say unto you and what I deliver to you in this video is truth and only truth. Whew. Okay. So in the biblical Red Sea moment, Moses was instructed by God to raise his staff and hold it there. And in the meantime, God created obstacles to prevent Pharaoh's army from getting to the Israelites. He held them back. Once, and so what was the miracle? A miracle was that God caused the waters of the Red Sea to part and create a pathway for the Israelites, to pass across the sea and up safely onto the other side. And once they were on the other side, God removed the obstacles he'd put in place for Pharaoh's army. And instead of going back and saying, okay, that's the end of it, no, Pharaoh's army descended into the path through the Red Sea and were then inundated and destroyed by the waters. Well, I have to tell you that the situation we have now, God has gotten even a better plan together. He has crafted a solution by which those who are in disagreement, right? Those who would come after us, or, you know, the two opposing forces, there is the dark and there's the light. And the dark forces coming after those of us who stand for the light and are in the light and protect, defend, and anchor the light. Many of those forces are doing so unwittingly. And please bear with me, okay? This is going to be so amazing, but I have to preface it a little bit to set it up so you understand it and you can incorporate it once you hear what it is that they showed me. And this is all part of what they showed me and made me to understand, okay? God has created and set up the stage for a miracle. Oh my God. No, Michael, remove this here. Clear for me anything that would get in my way. Keep me protected as I have asked. Remove everything from my home and from all access to me in my home that would come against me, Heavenly Father. I place upon me the armor of God, that I shall not be assaulted by any means. Thank you. This is a message they don't want out. Because this is something that they cannot do anything about. God has created a miracle in which the forces of light are saved. And the forces coming against them, which are aligned with the dark, many of which are also God's children of light, who have been blinded and programmed. And they are in such a state at this time with the programming. And I put a post on Facebook about this earlier today. And it has to do with the fact that, and this is not news, I've been saying this to people in conversations for a while. The people who are still not awakened are unable to. Not because, and I will see those on the side, you know, on the light who are trying to convince people, trying to awaken people. No, not going to work. It doesn't matter what you say, because this set of people, God's children, have been kept in the dark and programmed by it, programmed literally to the point where anything that is not in agreement with the frequencies and the paradigm of that programming, they literally cannot see. They can't compute it. They can't accept it into their reality in any way. Doesn't matter how you say it. It just is like not going anywhere. God has created a solution that will both break that programming, and once that programming is broken, to flood them and all of us with some massive truths. Whew. Whoa. Okay, so help me where to go with this from this point, peeps. All right, so I get into the vision here now. I don't want this to take all night. I had to set it up a bit. This is a miracle that's being created. This is the Red Sea moment. All right, the angel showed me this, and Moses showed me this. This is the Red Sea moment that has been predicted and is coming, that they showed me tonight. So one of the first things they showed me had to do with defining patriots. What is a patriot? And literally, I could feel the love. And a patriot, in this sense, is not just someone who loves their country. A patriot is someone who loves God, and human freedom more than they love themselves, and loves God. And if they are people who are in governmental positions of some kind, the patriots are the people who love God, freedom, and the people they serve more than they love themselves and their own gain. Because anybody who is practiced in the law of attraction knows that when you take care of what your soul is driving you to and values, you get into the vortex of prosperity, and that takes care of itself, and God takes care of you. So I digress a bit. So they showed me this deep, it had me in tears, literally, the depth of the love embedded in patriots' hearts. Patriot not meaning the corrupted version of the word that has been created in this country and worldwide by the dark side, but the divine use of the word, which is someone who loves God, our creator, the divine, and the freedom that God has just, desires for us, the soul freedom, for us to be the creator beings that we were made to be. And so the next thing they showed me is that we're not just talking about patriots in the United States, we're talking about patriots globally. And then we are talking about patriots throughout the universe. All right, that was the angels just letting me know. They're validating what I just said. That is spirit validating what I just said to you. There are patriots throughout the universe who value and support soul freedom and our right as divine beings to express that, and have this love of God, no matter what you call the divine creator being, the source from which we all came and to which we all the source from which everything has come, and the source to which it all will return. No matter what you call this, you have to, these beings from all over the universe, all the universes, different parts. We have patriots here surrounding us on this planet, above this planet, okay, around this planet. They have come here to come to our aid. Now, that's not necessarily anything new for a lot of people who have been digging into the David Wilcock and, I don't know, Corey Good, all of that kind of this stuff. But there's, you know, that they're out there and they're helping in the process and et cetera, et cetera. But the difference here, and you will see how this all ties in together with things that you may have heard from other people. Now, I know that there's something that David Wilcock was putting on tonight. I haven't listened to any of his stuff in a long time because I just couldn't sit there for 3 hours at a time and wait for him to say something that had relevance for me. Nothing against David. He's an extremely knowledgeable person who does a hell of a job and works his butt off. But I just don't have that kind of time. And there are pieces here that you may have heard, the pieces of the puzzle that are going to fit together. And what the angels showed me, the reading that I did, the divine plan reading for that period from the 14th to the 24th, the angel mind card, right? The divine mind, what the angels were doing, what the, you know, kind of the ace in the hole that they were using. All right, so this card came up, which was our guardian angels. And with respect to guardian angels, this had to do with military, restoring rule of law and law and order. Okay, let's go one step further. Let's take this military up a few thousand miles off planet, stationed around this planet to assist us, the forces of light that have come in. I've recently learned that one of those parts of the forces of life up there is a higher aspect of my own self, who is a commander in those forces. Try that on for size. You may or may not agree with me. You may think I'm full of crap. That's fine. I've been there, done that, okay? But I have to go with what I'm shown, just like I'm sharing with you what I've shown. So what is this Red Sea moment? And there are those who have postulated, oh, there would be a fake, you know, false flag ET attack, or ETs would present and save us. There's not going to be a dark produced false flag ET event, because the forces of light are preventing that from happening. That's just not going to be part of the picture. There have been reports that the president would go on the emergency alert system worldwide and broadcast to all of these countries what was going to happen, or what was happening, what was already underway, or what was done. What I have received from my team is that it's not going to be the president. Oh, geez Louise. See how my team is making sure that it's like, yes, I'm alerted with truth here. Whether that president is President Trump or President Biden. I'm still not clear on whether he is actually going to be inaugurated on Wednesday, or if that is going to be somehow a non-event. I don't know. That I'm not clear on, and maybe because it's not clear yet in the higher realms, because there are still situations that are coming into play around that. However, what I was shown today and made to know was that it's not the president who is going to be on the emergency alert system. It is, and some people have made reference to Space Force using communications capabilities. Well, yeah, but it's not our Space Force. It is going to be the ETs who take over our airwaves and our media, radio and TV and video and internet and all of that, that are going to take over and broadcast truth. So what happens then? And they are going to, at that point, identify themselves as being real, exposing themselves, right? You think it's totally accidental that all of these old UFO files from the FBI have been released here lately? Thinking maybe not. You might want to read some of them. But this will be the ET coming out saying, yes, we're real and we're here. So there's that shock value right there, number one. Boom. So what is that shock? And this is what I've been trying to sort of get my head around and into alignment with. I have known they've existed for a long time. And I have dealt with bad ones and I have dealt with the ones of the light. And come to, you know, I have a higher aspect. It's one of the light warrior ETs from my planet of origination, or my star system of origination, which is Sirius. So this is the first shock. All right. And what is the genius of this? When we get into really hard set programming, it takes the same thing to break the program that it took to create it in the first place, which is massive mental trauma. Your mind just trying to just go, oh, what is this? You know, and that is something. The genius of this, the second part of that genius of this, is that the presence and the possibility of the presence and reality of ETs is something that everybody on this planet that would need to be impacted by this already has an interest in. They're already connected to that possibility, regardless of whether they are co-opted by the dark or whether they're of the light. Everybody. This is the common ground through which God is being able to break down barriers, to break the conditioning. And when this trauma hits, it is going to be followed right on its heels by broadcasts of the truth about what's been going on in this world. The control that we've been under, the controllers and their methods and the horrendous things that they have done. The fraud, the sex trafficking, the barbaric uses of children and the sacrifices, the financial gain in systems, the wars and the whys of the wars. And also they're going to be in the way they have manipulated the rulers, the ruling classes globally for centuries, culminating with the recent election here in the United States. Now, they're not going to give you a long, drawn-out version. It's going to be the down and dirty version, and enough to literally, because the first thing that happens after you have this kind of mental trauma, it opens it up. It tears you open. And then you dump in what you want people to remember. You want people to, you know, whatever you dump in is what really will stick. And as soon as they get into the trauma stage of dealing with, oh my God, ETs are real, And boom, then you get hit with all the rest of this because you're already riveted to, oh my God, what are they going to say? What are they going to tell us? And all of that comes flooded in. And that bursts open the doors. It forces the awakening. Now, that awakening is going to, in itself, create a lot of trauma downhill and downstream for these people, and probably a lot that are on the light side too, who have recognized that it was a possibility, but sort of kept it out there as like, yeah, woo woo, yeah, right, ETs. And they're going to be a little shocked too. And the fact, you know, I was just sort of taken totally off guard saying, oh my God, you're having a coming out party and you're going to do it to save the planet, to save humanity, or to save us from ourselves, to wake us up so that we can do the things that we need to do, and so that every single one of the perpetrators of this darkness that are present now in this world are fully identified, that they are brought out into the light like cockroaches to see. This will not be President Trump or anybody else here on this planet bringing this out. This will be somebody else, totally and completely, that they can't pin an allegiance onto. They have no attachment to whether it's a Democrat or a liberal or whether it's a Tory or whatever, you know, whatever denomination of politics that you're in, or what kind of business you're in, or you know, what you do for a living, or none of it. They have no allegiance or care about any of that, because they are living by the tenets of the Christed consciousness, and none of that matters. Divine love makes everybody equal, and they are totally neutral parties, except for the fact that they are supporting the restoration of freedom in this world. Remember the last card? The gift card for this period? Resurrection. Absolute resurrection. This is when it begins. And this happens sometime in the next week, between now and the 24th. That's when it's scheduled. Oh, yes, scheduled to happen. Getting a big yes on that. So batten down the hatches, peeps. Put on your seatbelts. Come to terms with this possibility. Share this message far and wide to every light worker that you know, so that everyone can have a little bit of time to digest this possibility, because I'm still holding out that there's a possibility that I might be wrong. But my team is, you've seen, they're giving validation as I'm speaking it. Oh, yeah, okay. So share it far and wide. And if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to this channel so you get further notices of when I'm doing videos. Hit the like button. That makes me feel good, right? It says, okay, I've said something that had some meaning to you. Don't hide in the background anymore. The time for that is over. Share your comments with me. I do read them when they come up. But I'm still in the stage of being flabbergasted. This is now 2.5 hours or more since I was given this message, that I'm just trying to integrate this. So I know that there are many of you who, although, you know, you may be a big UFO and ET enthusiast and be like, yes, I want to meet him. The fact that sort of comes into a little bit of, comes up against the reality that it may actually be happening, and how it's going to happen, and what comes from there. because above all else, this transmission is going to verify that there are forces greater than us at play. And we are under a microscope. And there are enough of us who have come to the fore, millions and millions and millions and millions and millions all over the world. Maybe billions. I'm getting a yes on that. Who are craving this freedom now. And you'll see that also in the resistance to the virus lockdowns. They're just breaking the rules. They're all coming out and saying, yeah, we're not doing this. 500 restaurateurs in Italy said, no, enough of this. We're not doing this anymore. Open their restaurants. I've seen it over and over again in all different places where they're just coming out. The powers that be don't know what to do when everybody had just said, I've had enough of this crap, and go about living their own lives, because you can, it's like, do what you want. You can't arrest all of us. And if you try finding all of us, you will never get elected again. You will be driven out of office. That's not going to happen. So just be prepared for what I have been shown is coming in some form. And I'll tell you, as I am hoping that this is truly the Red Sea moment, as I have been shown it to be, to serve the purpose that I have shown that it should serve. Because this will keep this awakening, this forced awakening, will keep the children of the light, God's children of the light, the lost sheep, will bring them back into the flock and keep them from being destroyed in the flood. So that's the message. I'm still breathing this out. I mean, and the energy, and I am just absolutely so filled with this. And I just hope that you have been able to receive part of this. I'm getting a validation here that you have been also receiving this. This is directed not just for me, but out to you as well. So again, share this far and wide to give everybody possible the time to prepare for this possibility and what it means for us individually, for us as a country, for us globally as humanity moving forward. God bless you all. Thank you for being here with me, for being here to the end to listen to me and hear what I have to say and the message that has come with. I am yours in God, in Christ, in love. Good night.